I've crossed the time boundary and I'll start. This is a 20-minute functional subgrouping practice community call, and I will start with centering. I feel more present now, and I'll move to the section news and distractions, which is news is that next Sunday the weekly practice call with another member of this group will not happen because the other member can't come. And for me, the time is not perfect, so I will just drop the call for that week. Another news is that I have received feedback from 3 people out of the 5 I asked whether I can extend the membership of this meeting, this practice community, and the videos that have been already shared. Yes, I have asked them if I can extend the membership to those 7 people who said they would be interested in more frequent functional subgrouping practices. Another piece of news is that the last 2 days I didn't take time to schedule a daily meeting. Okay, and I'm moving into the functional subgrouping part. I loved the Sunday call where I had company of another member of this community, practice community. It was a very slow-paced call, and we explored directly how having eye contact with the other member of the group, the other members, versus closing eyes and concentrating what's going on inside, what difference it makes. And I found that very valuable, interesting way to spend time together. Anyone else? Nelly, you enjoyed the last meeting on Sunday where you were two people practicing together. And you were practicing, exploring together how it impacts you to have eye contact with other members of the group versus not having eye contact, and closing eyes and focusing on yourself. And it was slow paced. Another characteristic of that call was that we picked it up where we had left it a week ago, when the two of us have been meeting before a week ago. And that's something I have noticed as well in my own practicing alone. I'm often picking up where I left when I was in this space last time. And I'm picking up now on two things. One thing from the call with the other person, and another thing from the practices I've done alone. So it's a stash of data which I have by now, on which I can draw to continue thinking about things. Anyone else? Nelly, you noticed that both with the other person, the other member, and also with yourself, you're drawing to past on the data you have experienced, collected, thought about, the ideas you have thought about in previous meetings of these calls. And as it's running for quite a while now, you have some pile of ideas where you can refer to. And one thing that's coming up over and over is how things change when another person is there versus when I'm alone on a call. And one thing I know is that having another person on the call adds a big element of unknown. I have less predictions, knowledge about where the conversation might go. Anyone else? Nelly, you're exploring the difference between spending a call like this on your own and having other people participate in the call. And something that's happening when other people are present is that there seems to be more topics which you can't predict coming up compared to when you're alone. And another thing which has an impact on how the conversation goes is who starts the functional subgrouping. Because as the structure of functional subgrouping encourages us to think if we have joined before bringing a difference at any price. And it's often possible to have a join, even if it's just a weak join, and something else seems to be more important or might come up when taking more time to think about it, to really connect with what's going on inside of me. And I wonder if that's how it is intended to be functional subgrouping, or if that's just my way of living it for now, unless I've learned to do differently. Anyone else? Nelly, you noticed that the first person who starts the functional subgrouping has a huge impact on how the conversation goes? And you notice that the structure of functional subgrouping practices invites you to look for a join before trying to bring a difference, and that you often succeed in joining, even if it's not the really most important thing for you at the moment. And you wonder if the real intention of functional subgrouping is to stay much more closely to what's really going on in oneself. And bring in a difference more regularly, if the group is okay with it. I've learned during the York SCTRI conference to jump into the unknown and just reflect someone and then check what's going on for me, to no longer be afraid so much. That's present in many groups where I am now. When I decide to speak and reserve the floor for myself. And doing the same, and when other people are present and really embracing having a difference, bringing that difference, that would be a next step I could imagine. And I think there's a big difference if on the size of the group and of the subgroup of which I'm part of. So if there's a big group, it might work out wonderfully to let the others work until they are completed and then go to my difference. Whereas when we are just a little group and I bring in constantly differences, I'm actually blocking the others from getting their subgroup work done, possibly. And it makes more sense to try and join. Anyone else? Nali, you have reduced your anxiety of speaking up in a group when before actually having a plan what to say? And the next step would be to also then, when you speak, be really honest about whether you have a difference or not. And you have a theory that this is gonna be more easy in a big group where people can find someone who resonates a lot with their subgroup and can work with them till it's finished. Versus when you're in a small group where you are the only possible partner for subgrouping with someone. And if you then just keep on bringing differences, the other person will never get some work in their subgroup done. And I'm moving to surprises and learnings. I have a learning that I want to explore further or get more clarity on what is actually alive in me, whether it's part of the current subgroup or if it's more in another direction. And I want to be more aware of that, and then I want to make a decision on whether I want to bring a join or rather go to a different direction. Depending on what I perceive as being the most valuable thing for the group as a whole. I have a satisfaction that I started to have a call again, and that I was able to announce it early, 30 minutes early at least. I have a satisfaction that I crossed the time boundary and I didn't even notice. Started at 3, it was 20-minute call, and now it's almost, yeah. Well, I was starting a bit late because I had technical problems. Anyway, that's the end. So, yeah.